Okay, I'm going to be talking about Summit Health, but before I do that, I want to go back a couple of days and remember some of the things that Don Woodlock shared with us. He talked about a healthcare marketplace that's being transformed and being pushed to change because of economic, consumer, and technological forces, and how organizations are having to reinvent themselves because of that. He talked about the need to have a strong vision, a strong strategy that's unique to you. And he talked about technology as an enabler. Well, one of the things that I think is really cool about Summit Health is that they really exemplify all the things he spoke about on Tuesday. Summit Health was formed of a merger in 2019. It was a merger of a large medical group, multi-specialty medical group called Summit Medical Group, that had been founded back a century ago when medicine was a cottage industry and the norm was solo practitioners. So they had a history of being disruptors from the start. They merged with a group called City Med, which operated urgent care centers all over the New York metropolitan area. And the resulting organization has 1,200 employees, 2,500 providers. They operate out of 340 different locations across 5 states. Now, when they formed, they realized that they were going to need that clear vision. And they said, our vision is to create healthier, kinder communities. One of the ways they want to do that is by exemplifying compassion and care. They have core values of kindness, excellence, empathy, respect, and integrity. They also set out to simplify the healthcare experience, and they deliberately want to design that simplified experience to be intuitive, to be comprehensive, and to be responsive for patients and their providers. And finally, they are on a mission to reshape healthcare through the power of connections. So what do they mean by connections? Well, they talk about connecting patients to their providers for a high-quality care experience. They talk about connecting providers to each other for a seamless patient journey. They want to ensure that they connect with each individual as a unique person worthy of dignity and respect. And they want to connect to the healthcare communities they create and the communities in which their organization operates. To do that, they recognized that they were going to need technology as an enabler. So they, excuse me, they brought in a visionary CIO from outside healthcare, Abu Bakr. And he looked at what they had in place, and he said, we need to bring together the data from all the different sources we have across the organization. And he partnered with InterSystems, and they licensed HealthShare to use the unified care record to create normalized longitudinal records from all the data sources they have. They licensed InterSystems Iris for Health to deliver integration and API management so they could build out new IT assets of their own. They focused on a really tight, carefully prioritized implementation plan, starting with physician office data, starting with CRM data that would form the foundation of their next stage. And because it was a very focused implementation plan, they were able to go live in months. And then they built out My Summit Health. Now, I downloaded it off the Apple Store last night. It's their digital face to the customer, patients and people who are not yet patients of theirs. It lets those patients connect with the organization, to ask questions, to schedule visits, to find out more about their care. It lets patients connect to their medical records, those comprehensive records that they put together within HealthShare. It lets patients or others who are looking for care connect directly to providers through telehealth visits on demand, 24/7 from anywhere in the US. So they've built out a digital face to the community that's intuitive, comprehensive, and responsive. So what was that vision we said they had? They said they wanted to create healthier, kinder communities. And they're doing that in part by combining technology with compassion. Thank you.
Good morning. So Peltec, who's Peltec? They're the largest distributor of cosmetics, over-the-counter drugs, and daily essentials in Japan for consumption by everyday consumers. And one of the key objectives that Peltec has is that they want to achieve 99.999% delivery accuracy, nearly 100%. So let's equate that to a supply chain metric that's common across all verticals globally. It's on time in full. And on time in full is something that is very difficult to achieve, as you will see in the rest of this presentation. But let's use an example of a product that they use, an over-counter, is Allegra. So let's say that you're going to go on vacation and that you want to be able to use, you want 2 packs of Allegra D, the D, you want a decongestant, and you want a 15-pack. You go to the retailer, and you expect to have 2 packs of Allegra D 15 count. But Gartner just recently stated that 83% is the new on-time in full metric. So that means 17% of the people that went in there that were happy at the time are going to come back sad because they couldn't get the product that they wanted. But compare that to what Peltec is doing, nearly 100% compared to 83%. Let's go into just a little bit more detail of the significance of that number to achieve. So on the inbound side of their end-to-end supply chain, so there's 50,000 items from 1,000 manufacturers going into their operations. They're then moving it to 400 retailers in 50,000 stores. You start to put those numbers together, it's 3.6 billion products that are moving annually through Peltec's operations. But it's even more than that. So let's think about the typical supply chain. So you're bringing all these products in on that first mile. You have all those touch points. It's going to be through containers, down to item level, SKU level. Then you bring it through, and once it comes off the ships, it hits the port, and then it goes on to maybe rail. Maybe it goes on to less than truckload, full truckload, customs documentation, bill of ladings. Then it goes into the actual operation itself, where they're managing their own TMS, Transportation Management System, their own WMS, Warehouse Management System, their own OMS. Further amount of data that's coming through. Then you have the demand pull, right, on the retailers and then the final stores. It's billions of sets of transactional data that has to be managed to get to near perfection. So how do they do it? So first of all, Miyadi-san is the operating officer, and he's also the general manager of systems integration for Peltec. He has a vision of wanting to have the most innovative wholesaler in Japan, and he wants to exceed customer expectation. Then we know that 70% of Peltec's applications and systems are built internally. They also build their own logistics equipment. They have patents on their equipment. They also have a significant amount of automation and robotics within their distribution center. So to me, that tells me that Success is a passion for them. Think about that. They're building this. They have patents on what they do. That's success, and that's a passion for success. But how are they doing that? So they're focused. They have a focus. Their focus is on the ability to have what they call PIT. PIT is a program. It's the Peltech Innovation Technology of Systems. And so what they do is their entire focus is how are we going to be able to use and integrate InterSystems Iris. So they're using us as a data platform. Why? Because they want to make sure that they have real-time, accurate data flowing through and capturing across everything that I just showed you so that they can provide actionable insights that then drive to the operational efficiencies that we heard and labor efficiencies. They also use our Smart Data Fabric architecture. And that's key because they're using all 4 key capabilities of that architecture on the platform. So let's take the first one, data integration. So think about all the silos of data that we've just been talking about, those thousands of touch points, not only within their own system, but outside of their system. So we have integration. They're then ingesting billions of sets of data in, at rest, and only to be used when needed. They're then using the embedded analytics, mostly on the ML side. We're part of a 3-year digital transformation, of which they're using ML now, but they are progressing and using AI later. And then embedded interoperability. And interoperability is so key to them because, as you can imagine, trying to manage on-time info the way they want to manage it at the level of near perfection, you have to simulate and bring those workflows and processes into the data platform so that all 4 are working together as one capability. And that's quite significant. So you have the vision, you have the passion, and you have the focus. But let's just take just one more example, because they also, because of the disruption that we have in the supply chain today, that we know that, especially in the US, even more so in Europe and Japan, there's very difficult to get labor when we need it. So because of that, what they have decided to do is that at their distribution centers, that they're very highly automated, significant amount of robotics that they're using, to the point that there are very few people in a distribution center, and it's almost fully 100% automated. So think about, we know that data in healthcare is very important, but think about with all those transactions that are happening in robotics, thousands of robotics, that they're not getting the right data at the right time to be able to fulfill that on-time fulfillment. There's complete chaos. But we can avoid chaos because they're using InterSystems Iris. So I wanted to close with that there is 5 months of time to value. So let's think about that. 5 months from time to value. And they were able to do that because they're using InterSystems Iris. And they have improved customer satisfaction. They have improved productivity. They have improved sales. And that is due to, again, the vision, the passion, and the focus that they have between Peltech and InterSystems. Thank you.